is Daybreak Extra.
That is good. Garden guy Charlie Stocker joins us this morning. You made it here.
I literally just walked in, got my IFB on, and I'm ready to go.
Perfect, because we know you got stopped by a train this morning, but if you have a question for Charlie about your garden, plants, anything, you can call 270-827-7961. So,
two things.
Yeah.
I'm still getting questions on the Hey Garden Guy Charlie Stocker about bagworms, and they're still seeing active bagworms, and they're no bigger than about a ½ an inch, and they say they are still actively eating. Now, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm saying simply a way to tell if those bagworms are alive, and I know this sounds gross, but squeeze the bagworm, and if brown comes out, they're dead. If it's green or creamy, if it's green, you know they're alive. And if you don't have that many, the threshold is just simply pick them off and drop them into some soapy water. Or if there are more than enough that you can actually, you can't get up to the very top and everything, spray with either bifenthrin or malathion. Either one of the two will take care of the bagworms. I've never seen them active this late, but they can still do some damage, and they're pretty well just ready to go for the springtime if they are alive. But the simple test is squeeze them, and if it's brown that exudes from the bagworm, it's dead. If it's green, then you need to do what we talked about.
All right, Sheila is on the line this morning.
Morning, Sheila.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Question, well, there's really a couple of questions.
All right.
When do you trim back your roses?
Okay. Number one, when do you trim back your roses? It depends on the type of rose that it is. If it is a knockout rose, which is a bush rose, they just grow constantly and can get up to 6, 7, 8 foot. And you really can trim them back at any time without worrying about it. But if you haven't trimmed your rose back for a while, I would start by getting on my knees and I would count 5 good canes, green canes that look really healthy, if you have that many, and I would trim everything off to the ground, everything else off to the ground, but leave those 5 canes, and then work your way up from the ground after you've got those 5 canes and trim back anything that's growing straight across or any branches that are crisscrossing. And you've solved just about 90% of your problem after you've done those 2 simple trimmings. Then you can go to the top and just trim them back to a node where the leaves come out, and make sure the leaf, if you trim back to that leaf to get it to the real height you want it, make sure those leaves are facing out, because then that allows you to get more air circulation and more sun. Now watch, what do we have this on?
Question.
Yeah, what's second question?
What is homemade thing that you could spray outside flowers in with before you bring them in?
Pyrethrum, P-Y-R-E-T-H-R-U-M, pyrethrum. Another thing you can use if you're bringing, are you talking about potted plants that you, okay. Yeah, pyrethrum. That pretty well takes care of any overwintering insect eggs that you want to take onto the inside of the house.
And Judy is our next caller.
Morning, Judy.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
What's your question, Judy?
I have a lady with a rose bush, and it needs to be replanted. She wants me to dig it up out of her yard. She gives it to me, and I'm just wondering when the best time would be to do that.
Well, I actually would wait until we get the second killing frost. The second killing frost, here's some things that are happening. After you get the second killing frost, everything above the ground is basically going dormant, but the plant is not dormant in any way, shape, or form because the soil temperatures are around 55 degrees, which mean that you still have a lot of good root growth, and that root growth is essential for the next year. So what I would do is after the second killing frost, I would create that little moat just on the inside of how far the branches go out and go about 2 inches deep and about 3 inches wide. Fill it full of water. The next day, come back and go 5 inches deep. Go about 5 inches deep. No wider, just deep. And then water that whole area in again. What you're doing is you're hydrating that plant, even though it doesn't have any leaves necessarily on it after you've had 2 killing frosts, but it should have some leaves on it. Then the third day, you can come back and transplant that rose, and it won't even know it's been transplanted because you've inundated it so much with water.
That's really smart. I've never heard that before.
I am smart.
You are. You just know everything, Charlie, don't you? You had a second thing you wanted to mention.
A second thing I want to say, we're getting a lot of questions, too, on pine bark beetle. And this is really key because we've told a lot of people that's where your needle, you have a needle cast on Colorado blue spruce, Norway spruce, white pine, and the leaves are dropping. The needles are dropping, and they've treated it with Merit, but maybe they didn't get to it soon enough. So I'm saying now, the pine bark beetle is starting to lay its eggs, and the best thing you can do is get that Merit, which is a real strong imidacloprid. But look for a Merit. You can get it. You have to buy it by the gallon. It's about $75 a gallon. But if you want to save some valuable trees, this is the way to do it. Just around the collar of the tree, just open it up a little bit and pour 1/2 inch per inch. And just follow the instructions, but do it now and you can stop any damage that would occur for next year. Merit is what you want to use, pine bark beetle.
All right, Charlie's going to stick around for the rest of the show, so if you still have a question, feel free to call in. We'll be right back after this.